Hey, everybody. Hope you're doing well today. I had been thinking about doing a quick cast for a little bit, and the news from uh, Purdue basketball today is not good necessarily, not good at all, really. But the news from the Purdue basketball team kind of prompted me to get on this and give you guys a few thoughts on the Gillis situation out of God's country, and also some football thoughts, both on scheduling and roster moves. First off, let me thank our sponsors, of course, Gridiron Metalworks, Derek and Paul, and our pals there. Do a great job, great stuff. I'm sure you've heard of them by now, but give them a look if you're buying maybe a Father's Day gift. Who knows? It won't get there in time, probably, unless you get something stock and they get it out too quickly. But Gridiron Metalworks, they're awesome. AJ's, of course, if you're on campus, grab some grub and and a pint at AJ's. And then, of course, Martin Vintage, longtime sponsor of the site. Appreciate you guys tuning in again. But first, let's talk about the Gillis situation and what's what happened there. Gillis was found driving drunk last night. He blew a .15. It's a pretty significant amount of alcohol. I was talking about this on Twitter. That's not just a beer or two. That's a significant amount of alcohol in a guy that's 230 pounds. So I hate hearing stuff like that. You guys know that I kind of like to look at Purdue athletes through gold-colored glasses, see these guys as the best of the best. It's not always true. I think Gillis is a good guy. I've heard good things about him. I don't know him, never met him, but I've heard good things about his family, and I am positive that he will be punished. Purdue basketball said they're going to handle it internally, but it's definitely bad news. Definitely lousy to hear that news, and I am I'm disappointed. Really happy nobody was hurt or killed. Whenever you get behind the wheel and have that much alcohol in your system, bad things can happen, of course. So hoping he figures things out, gets this stuff put behind him, and doesn't have any more problems like this. My guess is he'll handle it really well because of the things I've heard about his family and them being kind of a closer knit group. Hoping these problems are behind him, though. Awful news, but it could have been much worse. So that's the first thing. Wanted to get that one out of the way. Second thing, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Purdue football schedule. This is much lighter. Just preface that, you already know it, but it's much lighter. There's pretty great opportunity for Purdue. The way this schedule is designed next year, it's a lot different than the last couple of years. We've had very, very difficult opponents early in the season. Last year, obviously, is a bit of a weird season. Absolutely weird season, bit of a wash. It's tough to figure out what to take away from that as a fan. I think it's probably tough for the coaches and the players as well, just because obviously the end result was pretty awful, and a lot of the things we thought might happen didn't happen on the positive side. Really, they had one significant win, and the rest of the games they lacked identity. They didn't look like the team we thought they would look like. But this coming season, let's look specifically in the pre-con at what they've got. They've got Oregon State at a 7 p.m. Kickoff, an unusual game versus UConn at UConn, and then Notre Dame. So obviously Notre Dame is one of the very, very good programs in America. They obviously struggle when they're on the big stage with the most elite programs in the BCS games specifically. They've struggled, but you cannot argue. You cannot argue with. Sorry, Zach. I just read your comment, and not good news. Not good news at all. But you can't argue with how solid Kelly has been at Notre Dame and how good they are in handling their business versus teams that are supposed to be less good, less powerful, lower ranked, so on and so forth. Kelly's been very, very good at handling his business versus these teams, and just a very, very good coach. He's the winningest coach ever in the history of Notre Dame football, I believe. I think he passed Parsegian last year. I'm not a Notre Dame guy, but I'm almost positive that's true. And He's a good coach. He's got a good program identity. They've got great defense there. But let's go through these first three games. First one, the Oregon State one. I think that's a big deal because of the big stage. 7 p.m. first weekend of football. I think there are 4 or 5 games on the Thursday before, and then you have a couple Friday and then big Saturday. But to have the big stage, to have FS1, not BTN, not like an ESPN2, something like that, to me that seems like a bigger deal. It feels like a significant game. It'll be in Ross-Ade. I'm super excited about that. Tweeted about that a little bit. Where else do you want to be other than Ross-Ade for the opening kickoff? So that's a lot of fun. That's the first part. That's a good morale builder for the fan base because as I talked to a fellow Boilermaker at Home Depot last week, a guy named Kyle, he heard my voice and then he said, "Hey, you're Boiler Dowd," and turns out he was right. This horrible nasally voice that you guys have come to tune into today, yeah, I guess is easy to spot. And we talked a little bit about what our thoughts were going into the football season. And Kyle put it pretty well in that he said, "I don't know what to think right now." I think you're not alone, Kyle. I think there are a lot of Purdue fans that think that way right now. I know I have a hard time giving a prediction on what I think is going to happen. I still believe in Jeff Brom. But the problem with last season, if you want to get really, really specific with what happened last year and even the year before, is the identity, the thing that makes Jeff Brom a good coach, an offensive mind. Purdue really didn't do that last year. They didn't open things up. They didn't look like they had the confidence to sling it. That said a lot to me about his confidence in the quarterbacks. But there's an opportunity right away with Oregon State in that that's not that great of a program. Purdue could be on national TV and a primetime spot, sling the ball around, maybe recreate some of the energy from the Ohio game a couple years ago, which many of you were there. That was a fun game. Purdue opened the bag of tricks, tons of fun. A team that was really hungry to prove to people that they were good. Perhaps because no one believes in Purdue anymore, that this will be the chance for Purdue and Brom and company to kind of earn some of that positivity again, because it's really not out there. Vegas doesn't believe in Purdue. I tweeted that last week. Purdue is one of the, I think they're the second to last strongest odds in the conference for winning the conference. People don't believe in Purdue. And even Purdue fans don't know what to think. Even the ones who are like me, who are big fans, season ticket holders, just don't know what they're going to get. There's one thing that I think we can be positive about, and that is with a new defensive coordinator, new defensive coaches all the way across the board, and some very, very good defensive tackles coming in. That to me is a good place to start, especially in the Big Ten where a lot of teams are going to run. Specifically in the West, you have Wisconsin and Iowa and even Nebraska, who still, those teams base a lot of their success is predicated on running the ball. So if Purdue can stop the run, that's a good thing. I think the rest of Purdue's defense is going to be pretty solid. They have some holes to fill, but the new guys are going to help greatly as we look forward. So you've got Oregon, then you've got UConn, which is a weird one because that's a game where Purdue should be able to handle their business, beat the hell out of UConn because that is not a good program. That's a program that really is close to lower division, very close to it, and then as close as you can be without being in it. And that's on the road, which is an unusual one. But to say you win a road game, regardless of who it is always a good thing. That was scheduled years ago, by the way. UConn's program was different when that was scheduled. And then you've got Notre Dame, which is something that if Purdue can make some noise in that game, I think you'll have a lot of momentum going in the Big Ten season. These are good things to think about. We still got a lot of time. It's June 7th. So if you're like me, you're kind of starving for any information. Purdue football, spring football specifically, gave us nothing to kind of chew on. And nobody knew anything coming out of spring, including me, including you. I didn't hear much. And that's part of the reason I haven't been posting anything here or on the site as much. You know, we like to take it a little bit easier in the summer. This isn't our primary job. But anyway, I am excited about football season. I hope you are too. Leave your comments below. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not. Sound off in the comments or on Twitter, and reach out to me. If you see me in Home Depot, say hi, because that's a funny way to do it. Thanks again for tuning in. I hope you have a great afternoon. Hope your summer is going well. God bless you. Talk to you soon. See you.